Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be explaining and building the auto dropper. So basically this is a very useful little bit of redstone usable in Minecraft, and essentially this is a really useful little thing. I believe it is possible to be built in Bedrock, however you wouldn't quote me on that. So basically, what this is you have your hopper here, or your dropper even, sorry, here. Okay? A comparator is taking an output, and it doesn't matter the strength of that output, because even if it's 1, okay, it will power this block here, which will power this redstone dust, which, just for the record, I didn't realise you could do this. But basically, if it's set to looking like that, it will not work. So make sure it is set to this sort of splattered redstone dot style thing. Okay. That will then power the block next to it here, which will then get picked up by this redstone repeater here, which will then power this redstone dust, putting this comparator into like a base, essentially a clock. Okay. Essentially what happens here is that redstone dot will power this block here. Okay, post-recording Jack here, just to say that that redstone dot is not the thing that powers that block. It's actually the block that the comparator runs into, okay? I don't know why I was under the impression that redstone dots power the block above. They don't. Let's move on. Which powers this redstone dust, which obviously powers this redstone dust, which activates this dropper here via sort of like quasi-connectivity, or whatever you want to call it, bud powering. Okay, which I believe is why this maybe won't work in Bedrock. However, I think a small adjustment you can make to make it work in Bedrock would be simply to do that. Okay, now the only issue is with this is if I just get some like sort of white concrete out, so I can act like it's the walls, you won't actually be able to make it flush. Okay, so if for whatever reason you wanted to have it flush, if you had this standard Java one, you can completely make it flush with the wall, and you never notice that any redstone about it, and it'd just be a hopper in the wall. However, again, if you did want to build it in Bedrock, I think you might have to add that redstone dust there, meaning that you might have to build something like this. Yeah, so on. But then obviously, as you might have seen here, there's different variations of how you can actually build the auto dropper. Okay. So this here is the column of water. This you will need soul sand, water, and glass. These are all here at the building section as optional bits. But essentially, what you'll do is throw the stack in there. I mean, again, you can literally just slob it straight into the dropper like that. But oh, look at that! There you go. That's proof of it not working if it's set to a dot. But there you go, guys. So obviously, I don't know how big you'll want this to be, but if you want to transport, maybe you've got a mining project down underground, and you want to transport things up, or a farm that's underground, and you want to transport things up, this is probably one of the best ways of doing it, because all the items will just simply flow in via these hoppers here, straight in, and it works. And the other thing is a standard water stream, okay? So there we go. Again, I think I've set that to redstone dot. Yeah, okay. There we go. And so, oh, flipping it. Pardon my terrible ability there, but simply like this, it'll run out, and then obviously you can just connect them like this, like how I've done here with a sign or a slab with some compressed ice, and they will continue to just flow over. I mean, you can actually set this to be glass, but there is actually a chance of them getting stuck on this block then, and so if you do have ice at hand, I wouldn't risk that. Also, I would probably do what I didn't here and contain it like that. Again, you also don't need to use glass. That's just for like visual things. I mean, you might want it to be glass. You might want it fully contained. You might want it built out of concrete. It doesn't actually matter what this is built out of. Okay, so now we're going to jump over to this. So if you skipped over to the building section due to the timestamp, hello, and so what we're going to do is run through what you need. So these top ones here are actually the blocks that you, like the blocks that you need, and that is obviously a dropper, a comparator, a repeater, a redstone dust, and a construction block. Again, this does not need to be like blue concrete. This can be dirt, this can be stone, this can be sandstone even. This can literally be anything. That won't matter. But then we can get onto these as well here later on. These are all optional extras for the things that we've just demonstrated over there. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll start by placing the block in which the dropper will go on, okay? We then place 1, 2, 3, and then you don't need to destroy that block there, but maybe if you want to save your blocks, it might be worthy of doing. So that's our first row there. You then go like that. Again, you don't need to remove that block there, but it's each of their own. And then 1, 2, like that. So this is very simple, like that. Again, if you kind of think of building it circuit by circuit instead of layer by layer, you essentially, this comparator is powering this block, powering this redstone dust, and then you need to take an output from this block here. So we're going to put a repeater here, and then just dust to link the repeater and the comparator together like that. Then you're going to want to make sure that this is spitting out, the dropper is spitting out its blocks. So we're going to place one over the comparator. All you need to do is hold down shift and click it. I believe it's like right analog stick down on if you're on a remote. So yeah, and then you just go 1, 2, and you're done essentially. So then all you need to do is just get some blocks. Don't chuck them. Put them into the dropper like so. Oh, and then place a block above there. Sorry, I forgot to mention. What the fuck? Okay, I'm gonna rebuild this. Okay guys, so for the people that have skipped over to the building section from the timestamp in the description, hello, and we're going to get on with the building. So these top 5 here are the actual necessary blocks to build the auto dropper. The rest are added extras for the contraptions further down there that we did just go through. So again, you don't actually need them, but they're here. So what you'll need is a dropper, a comparator, a repeater, redstone dust. You'll need around 4 redstone dusts, and some construction blocks. Again, this doesn't need to be like blue concrete. This can be dirt, stone, cobblestone, sandstone, literally anything you want. Doesn't matter, okay? So we'll get on with building. So then we're going to put our block down here for the dropper to sit on. And then we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 1 up in the middle like that. And then you can't destroy the block underneath like so. Okay. Then you want to put the repeater in behind the dropper with the 2 little pins against the dropper. And then putting a redstone dust there. If you try and think of building this more like circuit by circuit instead of just layer by layer, essentially what you're doing is you want the comparator to read the dropper and then power this block here to power this redstone. Then what we can do is place a block there like that, and then place 1, 2 like that, and then a repeater to get the reading of sort of the powered block here by this redstone dust, and then another redstone dust to power the comparator here to put it into a clock. Then what you need to do is shift over the comparator and click like that. It's obviously shift on a keyboard, and I believe it's like the right analog stick on a remote. If you press that in, it'll put you into shift. Then you need to go 1, 2, and then again shift over this redstone dust there and put it in turn mode like this. Then this is done. So what you want to do is grab some blocks and put it in like that, and off it goes. That does start automatically detecting. That powers the dust powers the repeater, putting the sort of the comparator into its clock, and then obviously this is going up and bud powering the dropper. Okay, so now what we need to talk about is doing the added extras. Okay, so if you do want to build any of the added extras here, all you need to do is grab the following blocks here. So some soul sand, some glass, and some water if you want to build the elevator. If you don't want to build an elevator, you just want to build a path, then you don't need the soul sand. And then obviously if you want to have the things like items run into the dropper, then you will want a hopper here. And then maybe a chest. That's just obviously just for example purposes. You might not need a chest on this side. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to build the sort of water elevator. Okay, so first of all we're going to start by putting some soul sand in the floor and then building up our column. Again, this does not need to be glass, this can be literally anything. Make sure that you're placing that block above the dropper as well, because otherwise that will not work. Then you want to make sure that every single water block in here is a water source. If it's not, then the bubble column will not work. You can either make it all sources by placing water buckets, okay, flipping it, that's a bit loud, or putting a single source at the top, okay, and then putting kelp in every block, sort of going up. Then to place kelp you're going to need like dirt, sand or gravel, I believe you can place it on at the bottom, and then you can just place a column of kelp all the way up to the top, and then it will work. But that so yeah, that's usually the nice cheap way of doing it. Okay, so then as you can see, if I'll put some hoppers in here just to sort of give that example of using hoppers to run it in. It'll simply just work like so. Then if you want to run the your items like sort of off this, the best way of doing so would be to sort of create a little chest here like this, and then sort of breaking that, placing that, and then, I mean, you know what, it's all bleeding finished now, isn't it? But put another stack in there now. In fact, we'll put a cap on it like that, and then it should all start flowing into this chest like so. So, yeah, that's how you do that, running a water elevator into a chest like so. Then if I just grab myself a sponge, just while I remove this all that, there we go. And I'll show you how to make a, oh no, how much is in here? Alright, okay. Right, there we go. So then we can remove that, and what we can do is place a, we can sort of do this, what would usually be used in a farm, okay, and it's just a nice little water stream, okay, so every time a block enters through the water stream, it would get picked up by this, and like that, and then you just need to place water, and you're literally done. It's very, very simple. So if I just lob my stack of soul sand back in there like so, you might again want to sort of try and contain it like that, just to stop it from going anywhere, but then it will all flow in like that. If you're going to have multiple farms running into the same one, you might want to maybe put 2 hoppers in, because then that way the odds of it getting picked up by at least one of them is high, do you know what I mean? And that way you will always work. Then if you need to sort of sort your items, maybe if you've got multiple farms, go back and look for my or just click on the playlist at the end of the video for the storage system, okay? And the storage system will obviously allow you to just run this hopper into one of them storage systems very, very simply. But yeah, guys, this is an auto dropper and the many ways you can use it. So I hope that you have learned how to build one, how to use one, and how they all work essentially. But yeah, guys, hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you all in another one. Goodbye.